Hi Flosstube, it is Helen D. And it's Whip Parade Day. It's the beginning of the year. Today is Monday, January 5th, 2026. So we're starting the new year, and that's the time when a lot of cross stitchers and crafters like to look back at the year that was and plan ahead for the year that is. So that's what we have today. And we may have a record number of whips for me. So we'll talk all things whips. Just quick introduction. I know I've found new people through Whip Parades, so if you are new here, my name is Helen. I live in Maine, Mid-Coast Maine, with my husband and my son, who's a junior in high school, and our two cats, Emmy and Pepper. Sometimes you see them fighting or running up the stairs, and Emmy always has to have her own cup of water, because I don't want her drinking out of mine. So I've been stitching a long time. My mom and grandmother taught me, and my sister, when I was young, 8, 10, you know, you kind of slow down out of it when you're in high school and college and you're busy. And then I picked it back up out of college, made a dozen wedding samplers because all my friends were getting married, made several baby samplers, and now I just stitch for me. I stitch so much for me that some seasons I can't even put everything out. I've run out of space. So I've been making Flosstube, I think it was December of 2017. So this December will be 9 years. That's a long time. So I have a whole backlog, a lot of them. And I do also have a lot of tutorials. I never planned on making tutorials. I just kind of fell into it. So they are there as well in their own playlist. So that's me in a nutshell. The whips. So I had a planner last year. I used it not like other people do. I'm old school. So 2025. I came into 2025 with 17 whips left over. The oldest ones were from 2023, and then there was a few from 2024. So started the year with 17 whips. Of those, I had 5 that were my oldest from 2023. I was aiming to get 4 of them done. I got 3 of them done. Close enough. So this year, 2025, I started 65 things, which is a lot of things, but a lot of them were smalls. Of those, of all my whips, I finished 44 things. So I am starting 2026. I started 2026 with 36 whips. I finished one last night, so I'm already down to 35. Now, that's a high number for me. 14 of those were things I started in December. I started all the things. Part of the reason why I started all the things, it was partially because I wanted to, and it was a little intentional. Because I thought this year, 2026, I want to work these whips down. I want to work on these things and finish them up. And traditionally, your smaller projects get finished. So the stuff I have left is larger projects. So I thought if I start some things, some smaller things, then I'll have, if I'm working on bigger things, I can also work on little things and get them done, and have that feeling of accomplishment, and go from there. So what I'm doing this year in 2026, I have broken my whips down into 4 categories: small, medium, large, and yikes. So my plan is to work on like 1 from each category for a period of time. I don't know if it will be a week, 2 weeks. The yikes category, I'm thinking 1 a month, because that way I can get some more substantial progress on them. So I will pick a small, a medium, a large, and a yikes. Or maybe I just pick a medium and a large, right? I can pick and choose. The goal is finish everything in the smalls, finish everything in the mediums, finish a lot of the large, or if not, bump them down so they are now a medium or a small and something easier to do. And then just get progress on the super large ones. I might get one done this year. We'll see. The other thing I'm doing is I'm trying to limit myself that for every 2 finishes, I can have 1 start. So I had my husband John make me a 2-to-1, like a March Madness bracket, basically. So for every 2, 1 start. We'll see how well it works. My first goal, like short-term goal, maybe I'll stick to it. I would like to hold off on new starts until market. Let's see if I can work on whips until market. One caveat I have is gift stitching doesn't count. Doesn't count as a new start. If I have to stitch something or want to stitch something as a gift, doesn't count. But it also doesn't count on this. So if I stitch a gift and I finish it, it doesn't count toward a new start. It's its own separate thing. So that being said, we're going to do the whips this year instead of chronologically, small, medium, large, and yikes. So we'll start with the finish. I finished this last night. I knew I was close. I didn't think I was this close, but I was. So I finished, nothing is ironed, no bags are unzipped. I think I have pictures of everything. That's how we're gonna roll today. I finished Sweater Weather, the Yeti from Satsuma Street. I will link down below, I will list the project, the designer, and the fabric. There's a couple that are mystery fabrics, so if you're interested, and I'll do them in order. So Sweater Weather, this is done on perforated paper, but I chose to do mine on fabric. It might be Picture This Plus Zephyr. It's a 14 count Aida. He's got all his little beads and his bling. I did leave off the sequins on his cheeks, but he's ready to go. He's ready to be added to my to be finished pile. That box is large too. All right, so we'll start in with the smalls. 8. I have 8 in the smalls category. Now within their category, mostly they are oldest to newest. So first up, Lone Caribou from Pigeon Coop Designs. This is available on Pigeon Coop Designs, just their website. I have several here that are from his book, but this one is from the website. And I have pins in this one for some reason. I think I was measuring it for a frame, but then I didn't buy one and I didn't take the pins out. That's how far I am. This is one that I remember the last time I pulled it out, I thought it was a little farther. So this will be hopefully one of the ones I work on in the next couple of months because it's winter themed. I do tend to stitch a lot of seasonal things, either within the season or a little the season before to try and get them done. So Lone Caribou, 28 count, antique white Lugana. I don't know which way I need these to be in order to fit. Next up, this one I just call Spring Birdhouse. I don't know if it technically has a name. This is from Cotton and Twine, which is the subscription box side of Historical Sampler Company. So this is Spring Birdhouse. It's by Little Dove Designs. So this is probably unavailable at this point, though it may be available on Cotton and Twine after a bit. I got that much, so not huge. 28 count antique white Lugana. I stitch on Aida and Lugana. I don't prefer linen. If it's white, it will be Lugana because white Aida to me is very crunchy and stiff, and I prefer a softer fabric. So if it's white, it is absolutely Lugana. Okay. Party Crashers. This one is from Petal Pusher. And it was the summer version of Barbie's little animal series. I started this late in the summer. 16 count Haven, Aida from Picture This Plus, center start. So I have the guy in the middle done. Get over here. So there's that one. All the called for bright, fun DMC. We have another cotton and twine. This one is cotton and twine, but it is by Crocette Gogo. And I call this one Two Foxes. Again, doesn't have a name, so I have it down there as Two Foxes because two foxes. My goal for how I kind of divided them was thinking a small category is something that if I gave it 2 weeks, could I finish it? Like that's the goal. 2 weeks, it would be finished. A medium, Vintage Country Mocha, 32 count, Lugana. A medium is something that would take 2 to 4, 2 to 6, like it would take a couple picks. And then a large would take a few more picks than that. So the smalls, theoretically, could be done in 2 weeks. There's Miss Emmy. She knew I was talking. She's got to come have her drink. Woodland Ornament Sal from Tiny Modernist. This was a Jingle Ball exclusive Sal, but this chart will be out later this year. So this came out every few days. I'm 3/5 done. I got 3 of the sections done. This one's on a mystery Lugana. I don't even know the count. It's like an aqua. So I have 3 done, 2 more to go. All right, the next 3 in my smalls are new starts. First up, this was a gift at Christmas, this Christmas from my sister. This is from Caterpillar Cross Stitch. It's their kind of club. I think it's bi-monthly, and it's called Let It Snow. And this is Emma Congdon. You'll see a lot of Emma Congdon and Satsuma Street and Pigeon Coop. I've got my faves. This one I'm doing on 28 count white opalescent. So it's got a little sparkle. Sorry, Emmy, you can't get to that. Came with floss. It came with fabric, but I wanted to use the opal. So I got that much done on there. Decent start. I decided it would be good to have a spring small, another spring kind of one in here. So I started, this is an unexpected start for anyone who normally watches. Cross Stitch in the Forest from Max Pigeon. This one is called Fox and Butterflies. It will fit in a 5x7 frame on 14 count. So this one I decided to go with the blue, and I believe I went with Ariel. Picture This Plus Ariel, 14 count. So I'm working on the trees. I did a center start because I had a smaller piece of fabric. I tend to start either center or bottom left, which I know some people think is weird, but that's it's just how I do it, bottom left, and work my way up. All right. And finally, this is the smallest of all my new starts because this was there were 2 that it was Christmas Eve, and I was like, I'm gonna bust one more in so that it won't count, right? So that it will be on my whip list and then it won't count as one of my coveted new starts. I knew that Yeti was getting very close and I would need another car project. This one I don't have a picture of. So I started the next Satsuma Street ornament which for me is going to be 4 calling birds. And I've talked in the past about, do I want these on fabric or on the perforated paper? And I think I've decided fabric. So this is 4 calling birds, Satsuma Street. This is the other half of the one that the Yeti is on, so I think it's Zephyr. Picture this plus. And again, that was just enough to say I had it started. So this will be my next one that I keep in the car. I like to keep a project in that I take with me when I'm dropping off and going places that is on a 14 count aida, easy to see, like not a black or dark aida, minimal colors that I can put some work in. And those are all of my smalls. So the mediums, I had to grab one of those 31 bags, and it's full. It is full. Oops. Let me move some of these others over because they were falling in. There. Okay. Mediums, things that could be done in 4 to 6 weeks. First up, Fall Folk Dragon from Tiny Modernist. This is another one that you will see a lot. Tiny Modernist. This was in her Patreon. It's now just available on her website and from stores. Mine is on Storm, 14 count Storm Aida from Picture This Plus. That's all I have. But I figured that's a lot of the fiddly stuff on the bottom, and there's more fiddly stuff on the top, but it's not huge, so medium. There goes Emmy. She was sleeping, but once she hears me talking, she thinks she's missing out, so. Red, White, and Blue from Hands On Design. This one, I didn't get a super huge start because I kind of started it came out kind of close to the 4th, and then the 4th ended and I moved on to other things. So it started. Red, White, and Blue. This is one of the ones that you finish as her little fold-up pincushion. It also has this chart for a needle book, but I'm doing this one. And I have the start of One Little Peak. Vintage, no, Light Taupe Lugana. I think that's a 32. I think it's 32, Light Taupe Lugana. It might be 28. When it's done and we see how big it is, we'll know. And those take a little more time than you think. Or for me they do. That's why I put it in a medium. Christmas House from Tiny Modernist. So Cheryl McKinnon released this set a year ago, and it's all 4 houses. I started with that one. I did not take the Jingle Ball class on how to put them together, so I'll be winging that. So you stitch all 4 sides. I have one side finished and a start on the other long side. So there's one side. There'll be a sleigh over there. And then I'll have the 2 small sides. This is also on Light Taupe Lugana. Light Taupe Lugana is my go-to for something that I need white to show up on. Another Tiny Modernist. This was a holiday start, a Christmas start. From this book, Across Stitch Christmas, Comfort and Joy. This is the 2025 book, and it looks like this. forgot that I marked the page. That's why I was chuckling. So that one. Light Taupe Lugana, 32. That's where I got nope. So I worked on this. I love the colors. Like they're Christmassy colors, but it won't bother me to work on that any time of year. Usually not much does anyway. I have been working on the Nora Corbett Christmas Eve Couriers set. I found them in Goodwill for $2.50 a piece, a chart, and the beads. Best deal I've ever found in there. There was like 5 of them. So I bought those and then collected the rest. Where did I put the picture of this one? They've seen better days, right? Like, the charts themselves have seen better days. So this one is Cupud. This is my 6th reindeer. Yeah. I'm doing all the reindeer on 16 count, picture this plus Haven. And I just have a small start, again, kind of so that I would have it in process this year. So I started in the center on that one. I don't have a very big margin because in order for these to be doable without needing a yard of fabric, I did my measuring, and if I cut it them this size, they would fit, and I could get by with, I think I needed a half yard, because a piece of it is for, I think I needed a half yard for the reindeer, plus a separate piece for the sleigh. It was a lot of Haven, and I made sure I had it all so that if you can't get that one, or if the dye lot changes, I'll be good. Newer winter start. We've reached the newer starts, except one that got put in the wrong category. The current winter issue of Just Cross Stitch. I started Bear in the Den. This is by the Stitch Crypt. And it's a little slow going because there's a lot of color changes, and like in the Bear, and it's a printed chart. I have one of her charts that also has a lot of this kind of the same colors, but as a PDF, and it went into Pattern Keeper, and that one will be easier. Oh no, my needle minder's on it. If the needle minder is on it, then I know which way is up. So I got this bar. This one's still on a Q-snap because I was working on it. 28 count cobblestone Lugana from Mystic Fabrics. I've gotten asked before if I leave things on a Q-snap. Typically, I will only leave something on a Q-snap if I'm actively working on it. And then when I'm done kind of actively working on it, I take it off. I don't want the fabric to get super stretched out, and I don't own that many Q-snaps. So this one, if I decide that it's not one of the ones, like when it's not its week, it will get taken off the Q-snap. Probably it won't be its week first anyway, so that one might come right off the Q-snap. All right. I don't remember. I think I did show this one as a start, my last video. Cross Stitch in the Forest, Blizzard Valley. I started on the bottom center. Also on an opal, 28 count opal, white, or antique white. They're kind of the same to me. So that's where I got on that one. And the final one in the medium category is actually a large piece, but I kind of went by from where I am currently on it. It qualifies as a medium. This is called Ghostly Gathering, and it was a stitch along from Caterpillar Cross Stitch that is designed by Emma Congdon. And I got through part 3. I believe all the way through part 3. So here's the full thing. You can now get it just as a full chart from Caterpillar Cross Stitch as a PDF. I mean, as a real chart too, but they're in the UK, I'm in the US. I got it as a PDF. All right. I believe this was all of part 3. This one is on 14 count Orchid from Fiber on a Whim. So I have this big spooky tree, which the trees did take a while. This tree took a while, and this one's bigger. Oh good, no wait, this was the bigger one. Phew, that's done. So I have this one, is that right? No, I did the small one. I have the big one left. So the big tree and the house is what I have left. So, medium. And that is all my mediums. I had 8 in the medium category. The large category has the most. So let me pull these out. Try and keep them in order. And without tipping over. Okay, large. 14 in my large. Here we go. First up is one of the older ones. This is a 2023. The other one that, if I had worked on it, I probably could have gotten done, but I didn't touch it. And that is Eva from Nora Corbett, one of the Bewitching Pixies. Not overly large, 156 by 115. Just didn't pull it out, I was working on other things. This is on Night Sky Brandy from Mystic Fabrics, a 28 count. Lugana. I think it goes this way. So I started in the center with the ruffles of her dress. I'm somewhere in here. So once I get going on this, also because it's a darker fabric, I need really good light, which isn't always the case in the winter in Maine. So I have an aught light, but even then, sometimes natural light is a little better for the darker pieces. This is another one that I thought, oh, I'll finish that this year. Didn't even touch. This is Night Riders from Love Poppet. This one I'm doing on 16 count Phantasm from Atomic Ranch. Center start. Just a little one. I'm wondering, I have a black frame, a black circle frame that I was going to use for a different project, and then that one wouldn't fit. I don't know if I could do just the Witch and the Moon, right? I'd have to finish the bottom, the moon, based on the top. Her brim is sticking out a little, so I'd have to make sure there was a, like, not sticking out this much, but I'd have to make sure a bat was sticking out. I don't know if this one will be shortened or the whole thing. Excuse me, I'm allergic to whips. So that one needs to get some love this year. Dino Garden. This one I really love. I love the bright colors. It's on dark fabric. So this is Dino Garden from Una Buena Pieza, who has an online shop and is on Etsy as well. So it's the whole thing. I started on the bottom. I'm always, this particular chart makes me laugh because I'll pull it out and there will always be a random chart in there. because this is what I was using on my lap to try to reflect some light to see those holes. So I started on the bottom. I have the water section done, and I have moved into the land. 14 count, Desert Night, Aida, Atomic Ranch. So I'll keep going up there in the land. The land is the largest chunk. Like, it's not quite double the water, but almost. And then the top, I think, is the smallest. So, Dino Garden. That one has a bunch of messy floss in there. That one had enough floss that the floss is not in this bag. I have it in a little box separate because it was that much. All right. This is another one that is kind of a, I'm taking this one off the Q-Snap. It's kind of a non-seasonal, not tied to anything, just because I like it piece. And sometimes those don't get quite as much love as the others. So this one is Stitcher's Guide to Middle Earth. It's by the Stitching Coven on Etsy. I found the chart for this. I have a digital copy, so that's the whole thing. I am not doing this, I'm stopping it here, not because I didn't like this. It wouldn't fit on my fabric. I had this color that I really wanted to use, and it would fit if I trimmed it up. So that's what I did. It's 28 count Olympia from Mystic Fabrics. So, at the beginning of the year, this whip looked like this. I had up through the broken sword. Then I thought, I want to work on this whip. I decided that from New Year's until the beginning of the first full week, I can work on whatever I want. And then I will pull my small, medium, large. So I did. And now I'm here. So I got the one ring in with all these sleeves. I brought the borders up on both sides, and I started on the weapons, the row of weapons. So that's all new. And I'm really excited because the top part is my favorite. So I love this whole little section. Honestly, this little section would have been cute all on its own with all the little food stuffs and everything down below, and then the little hobbit house. So that's how much I got on there. Yeah, 28 count cobble Olympia Lugana. Just let me throw these. I'll make a mess if I don't put things away. When you've got this many going, you got to keep stuff together. Right. The next one after this is a stitch along. This was kind of an unexpected start for me last year because it was just so pretty. Let me put that one back in there. With this. This is also from Just Cross Stitch. It was a yearly stitch along by Sprouting Lupine, and it was called Nature's Journey. Several people did this one last year. It was put out in 4 separate issues. It will be coming out as a separate chart from Sprouting Lupine at some point this year. So that's the full thing. This was this section, so that's why these are kind of blurry, but that's the whole thing. I did pretty good with spring and summer, and then I fell behind. So I have a lot more to go, but this one is also on a Mystic Fabrics called Tundra, 28 count. I didn't get my spacing quite right, but I frame stuff myself, so that's my own problem. So spring and summer, and then I started on autumn. So it's pretty big. on 28 count, right? If you used 46 count, it would be a lot smaller. So that one, all the parts are out. I don't know if I have them all ready to go yet in this bag, but they're here. Okay. This is Spring Circle from Little Dove Designs. She has 3 of these done and on her website. She doesn't have winter yet, so that one will be coming. I can't start another until I finish this one anyway. This is spring. I started in the center, and my favorite part is this, and I'm in this. So it didn't get quite as much, and I started it a little later in the season. So I built 3/4 of a house on this one. Firmly in the large pile. Like, it's not a yikes, but it's a large. Medicine and Poison by the Witchy Stitcher. I started this with several friends, including my friend Audrey, Stitchy Witch 42, when she was going through her cancer treatments. Audrey's is finished. Mine's not. That's a better picture. Difference between Medicine and Poison is the dose. This one gives me trouble because it's a PDF. I could not get it to go into Pattern Keeper. So I'm going off the paper copy, and it's very fiddly, and I keep messing up. So this one is on Dreamy, 28 count Dreamy Lugana from Mystic Fabrics. Started on the bottom. Like, I love the fabric color. I've stitched part of this skeleton 3 times. So that one kind of got put away. So it will get pulled back out. It's another one where I need really good light. This was one that I just wanted to get a start on so that I could work on it this year, but in the fall. That was past Helen that thought that. I've wanted to do this for a few years and hadn't, so I thought just get it started. This is called Fall Fox. It was in an old Cross Stitcher magazine, but it's now available. It's an Emma Congdon Stitcherovia just on her Etsy. Even though I have the magazine, I bought it on her Etsy, went right into Pattern Keeper. So this one, I did a center start, white or antique white aida. I have a blob. So that's the center. I love the colors in this one. It's not as many stitches as I thought. I don't remember how many, like 7 to 9, like doable. To me, a Yikes project is in the 20,000 and up range. Now I noticed some people, my friend Amy Gable Stitchers, 20,000 is a small, but to me, 20,000 is a yikes. Oops. I started this one at Stitch New England, the retreat. This is Autumn Trio from Brenda Gervais with the needle and thread. I haven't decided if I want to do them as pillows or as the one long piece. So I started with the fox in the corner of a piece of fabric that I haven't cut so I can make up my mind. What is this fabric? I don't know. Oh, it should be on my list. I wrote them all on my list. Autumn Trio. My list is alphabetical, not by small, medium, large. Oatmeal Lugana, 28 count oatmeal from Color and Cotton. And I just have a little, I have a retreat to start, right? Where, look, I started it. And then I shoved it in this bag. So a small start on that. Sorry, I keep hitting a zipper pull on that. I love the look of the long one, but I have to decide in my house, where would I put that? So that's the deciding factor. Okay, from here on we have some of the ones that these were all December starts. Teresa Kogut, Woodland Santa. This was a newsletter freebie from 2024 that she did put in her shop during the Jingle Ball. I'm changing the colors. He has a brown coat and I wanted mine to have a red coat. So I've pulled some colors. We'll see if I have to tweak. This one is on Old Stone Lugana, a 28 count, random piece I had. I think it's a color and cotton. So that's all I have. This one got put away after Christmas. But it's a start. These ones all have smaller starts. And I ran out of thematically appropriate bags. So that's in a bright old spring bag. This piece I just showed in my last video. I started this piece 3 times. This is a 3-time start. So this is Trunk Town Autumn from the Blue Flower. This is available, I'll put a link below, through Be Beautiful Sip and Stitchery. I'm gonna get their name wrong every time. Be Beautiful Sip and Stitch. I'll link it below. They were so helpful. I called them, got it, the chart's on their website. It has velveteen for the top and bottom. They may be out of that. So this was an exclusive for a retreat that they have kind of exclusivity to for probably a year. So it's kind of large. It's 240 wide by 89 high. So I didn't really want to do it on a 14 or a 28 because it would be like Stumptown Autumn. It'd be huge. So I had this piece that was just the right size of 16 count Bramble from Picture This Plus. I haven't been stitching a lot on 16 count because especially Picture This Plus 16, it's really more of an 18. So I'm like, whatever, I'll do it. So I started it on the 16 with 2 strands of floss, which is what I like, and I hated it. I didn't like how it looked. So I said, ugh, back to the drawing board. I went through all my fabrics and I found a piece of brown that would work. That was a 14 count, and I started it again. And I got this same amount done. Like this strip on the bottom and part of a flower up the top. And I was like, that's gonna be huge. It's just gonna be too big. Back to the 16 count. 1 strand. So I'm doing 16 count, 1 strand of floss, which is not my favorite. It slips, it twists. I don't prefer the 1 strand. I know a lot of people do. A lot of people really dislike 2 strands, but I like 2 strands. So that's this one, Trunk Town Autumn. That's the whole thing. So I'm over here. Started. This is a piece I've wanted to do forever, and I finally was just like, just do it. Just start it. This is in the 2024 Keepsake cross-stitch calendar. These are put out by Craftways, and this is a Barbara Anna called Silhouettes and Shadows. It's full coverage, but it's small. So I have just the tiniest. This is still in a Q-snap. It will probably come out. I'm using a mystery Picture This Plus 14 count because that's what I enjoy stitching on. I could use a regular white, but that's not what I enjoy stitching on, so I used what I had. Run out of room over here. All right, 2 more new to you. These are 2 more why not starts. Another one that I really love and wanted to do. So why not? It's this one, the one on the cover. It's called Sequoia Falls. It's big. It's done here as a circle, but it's actually charted as a square. So I'm doing it as a square because a lot of this right here that you don't even see, literally right where this thumb is, that's the hardest part in the whole chart. That's right where I am. So that part of the chart is a lot of confetti. But then once you get into the rest of the chart, it's very much, I have an actual picture. It's kind of typical Max, right? Where it's lines, and I find the line stitching very relaxing. The trees will be a little tricky, but this little section right here, there's no way I'm going to stitch that and then you're not going to see it. So this one is, I think it's like 120 by 120, 120 by 119. So not overly huge. The hardest thing too with this, not digital. So I have to do it off a chart, off a paper chart that's split because it was in a book, but I started it. 28 count, Antique White Lugana. I think that's the last one in that book. This is my second Why Not Christmas Eve start, because I kind of wanted to have it started. This also took 2 starts because my first fabric just didn't work. This is called Birds and Blooms by Counting Puddles. This was a chart that you could get at the Spring Mingle from Lindy Stitches. So Counting Puddles was one of the featured designers. So this probably will come out this year. And I just wanted to have it on the go. The middle flower is this yellow one. My original fabric was a light green. This middle flower looked terrible. So I switched. I only have this much, just enough. It's fuzz on everything today. Here's the middle flower. 14 count Haven. Picture this plus. Haven? Ariel. Though it's kind of a darker Ariel. So just enough. So I'd have a spring piece. I didn't have a lot of spring pieces on the go. And that is the last of my large category, which only leaves the Yikes. 5 Yikes. In first place, my oldest whip, Snow Queen from Mirabilia. Didn't touch, I don't think I touched it last year. Maybe I did. If I did, I didn't do much. It's all falling apart. Snow Queen. I love this chart. I love this pattern. I do not like this chart. It's hard to follow. I wish I had have it digitally, but that's not how her charts are done. It's hard to see. It's on like that lighter paper if you've ever done a Mira. So the working copy, photocopy, everything is a little light. Sometimes I will just take a picture and then blow it up and like on my Kindle. It's difficult. 28 count Rhiannon Lugana from Fabrics by Stephanie. So I'm in this section. I believe this, where I just was, is where the pages connect. So hopefully that will help. We'll see. Like, I have a chunk. I have a lot more to go. So, oldest whip, Snow Queen. Hey, she hasn't been abandoned yet. She's still in the running. Okay. Next in the Yikes. Real Comfort, Plum Street. This one's been on the go a little over a year because it came out 2 autumns ago. Yep. I shoved my needle minder on the chart for some reason. Oh, with a needle with floss in it. Real Comfort. I love this one too. Started bottom left. Mine is going to be extra huge because I'm going to stitch it on what I like to stitch on, right? I don't enjoy stitching. I love the look of small things. My eyes do not enjoy stitching small things. So I started Plum Street's Live on Little, and I ended up abandoning it because it was on a 16 count and I just wasn't enjoying it. So I thought, if I'm gonna do this, go big or go home. Light Taupe Lugana. 28 count. So I gave myself a good size margin on this, but it's still gonna use a lot of that piece. So here's where I am. I made progress this year. I got the grass filled in, I got the house started. I brought the border up. I have a long way to go. When it is done, you'll be able to see it from space. But it will be big and beautiful. So that one is in there. Next is one that I question. I question if my eyes are going to be able to do this one. It's Luna Moth from Shannon Christine, and it's beautiful. I love the colors. I bought it immediately. I love it. But I'm stitching it on dark fabric. It's a lot. So this one, when it comes up, we'll see. I'm stitching this one, I believe, on 14 count Shadow from Picture This Plus. And I don't have a giant start. And honestly, I had all I could do to get that in. So that's what I have. So we'll see. Tiny Modernist has a moth chart that I thought maybe if I got that and then used these colors, future problem. Autumn Lane Stitchery, Autumn Town. This one I just barely started in the fall again to get it going. Then I went through, this is an older PDF. A lot of Autumn Lane Stitchery's new PDFs do work in Pattern Keeper. The older ones don't. So this one did not. And I thought, man, that would really be a lot easier if I had it in Pattern Keeper. So I have some old charting software, PC Stitch. I don't even think it's supported or made. I recharted the chart. I copied the chart into Pattern Keeper. So now I can just go by that. 28 count Pistachio Lugana from Fiber on Wood. And I don't even have to unfold it because that's where it is. I am switching some colors up too. I'm going to use some variegated, this is Gloriana Silks, so I'm going to use some different variegateds in the trees. I've got some in here that are potentials. I'll let you know when we get there. And then the very last one of my newest starts, firmly in the Yikes category, Winter Moon from Plum Street. This one is, I think it's smaller than Live on Little. Not Live on Little. Real Comfort, I think. So, Winter Moon. I started this the first day of winter, the 21st of December. I am making some changes in this one too. I've talked about it. I added a little on the side to round off his tail. I'm gonna round off the moon. I switched these trees up. I also put this one in, that software. So it's in Pattern Keeper. I think it's like 19,000-ish, a little more, with my changes. Coming along rather easier than I thought. This one is on 28 count Balmoral from Color and Cotton, it's Lugana. And look how far I got, you guys. I'm kind of proud of myself on this one. I thought that white was going to be so bad I almost didn't want to do it, but it whipped right up. A couple things I have changed also. These little dots are supposed to be white, but I couldn't tell the difference between this pale blue and the white, so I just made them blue. And then, like I said, I added a line so I could round his tail off. I did start filling in some bricks because one of these colors is sweet potato and it looked orange. So I'm like, let me just see. Sometimes when you put the other colors in, it looks different, which it totally does. So I'm like, nope, that's fine. At first I thought, well, that's like gonna be carrot orange in there, but So I got this far. I'm gonna kind of work on what's in the Q-snap. This is going to be my January Yikes. So we'll see what I can get. And I started, those are in the tree so that I can just kind of outline and fill in. And that is all, my 35 whips. So I don't really know how I'm going to choose what I work on each month. It will kind of be what I feel like. I'm not the best with plans. I've never done whip going stuff because I don't like being told what to stitch, even by myself. That's the problem. So it will be whatever's calling to me, which means I don't know if I'll do a 2-week rotation, a 1-week rotation. The Yikes, the big ones, I would like to give a whole month because that way they'll get some significant progress. And then the others, theoretically, I could pick up a small and within 2 weeks get it done and off the list. So if I picked a small, a medium or a large, and a Yikes, I could finish the small, get a good chunk in on the other one, and a good chunk in on the Yikes. That will be an evolving process. In some weeks I may ask you guys, like, hey, what should my next one be? If I'm not feeling anything specific, what should my next one be? So when I do my regular update next week, next Tuesday, we'll see what I picked for the first at least week and if that's gonna work for the second week or not. So those are my whips. That was a lot. I remember at the beginning of last year, right around this time, I was toying with, let's do no new starts and focus on whips. And instead I started 65 things. So this year, I'm not fooling myself. But maybe with this, it'll help. Market is first weekend of March. You know there's going to be good stuff that comes out there. So if I can build up some new starts, a couple for March, then I could have a couple market starts. And then those would get added to my list. So like when one of those was finished, it would count toward my new start tracker. It's all in my head. It's the games we tell ourselves. Okay. It will be interesting. I usually watch this video back mid-year when I film my mid-year whip parade and see what I finished and what I didn't. So that will be a fun journey. But thank you guys so much. I'll let you get on to the next whip parade and I will see you with a regular update next week. Bye.